Hey, how's it going? This is Will here from Flow Candy, and today we're going to be breaking down Fenty Beauty, a $1 billion beauty brand by Rihanna. And I have the audit, I have the funnel breakdown. I've gone and ordered the product and gone through a lot of their emails and messaging, and just going to sort of tell you what I think. Before I jump in, I want to talk about just give you a little bit of a backstory behind Fenty. Um, so they launched in around like 2016 ish, and it was a joint venture between Rihanna and LVMH's a sort of a department in LVMH. If you don't know who LVMH is, it is uh, one of the biggest, actually the richest person in the world right now. Bernard Arnault is the founder of this. It's a conglomerate. They own like Christian Dior. They own Louis Vuitton. They own a bunch of beauty brands. It's a French company. Um, and it was a joint venture between Rihanna and a department in LVMH called Kendo. And I think how it initially launches is they invested 30 million euros into this. And that included like the launch, the production, and stuff like that. And then Rihanna invested, I forget how they framed it, but she basically, I don't think she had to invest really anything. It was more just her sort of social capital and her reputation. Um, and I found like the wording in the annual report or somewhere, but that's initially the joint venture. Just the backstory logistically behind this brand. I think another reason, I mean, that's a big reason why they're successful is when you have a company like LVMH who already has a lot of worldwide distribution, um, worldwide clout, and they also I forgot they also own Sephora too, so that helps as well. So a big reason why this took off and is $1 billion is part of that foundation which is already there. But also another reason why they were successful, if you go back to like 2016 ish 17 era, um, you know, they were one of the first brands to really champion inclusivity and different shades of color for people of color. And I think that there at the time there were a lot of beauty brands that had different shades for people of color, but I don't think that it wasn't really marketed as well. And I think that Rihanna really jumped on that trend. She kind of had her own in her own experience, she had a hard time finding makeup that matched different skin tones for her. And it's similar to if you watch our Skims breakdown or our episode of Why Brands Work on Skims, it's similar to that, where Kim Kardashian, she wanted to start a shapewear company that really championed inclusivity and different shades. So I think that's initially like why they were different a little bit in the market. It was that. It was Rihanna obviously has a ton of distribution, social capital, and then you pair that with the logistics of really one of the biggest companies in the world, LVMH. You could see why this company was so successful. And even before, like in 2018, even 2 years within launch, I think they were already doing over $500 million in sales. So yeah, I mean that's really a big reason why. That's sort of like why a little bit of their backstory and why they've been so successful. Let's jump into the numbers though, and look at it, and like let's see what they're doing to sustain that, because it's not just Rihanna. There's a lot of other things going on here. First off, let's start with the traffic. They're a traffic machine. They're driving a ton of traffic. I have it at about 1.5 million visitors a month. And you can see if you go to our funnel breakdown, we have it right here. And comparing it with some of the other stores. So 4.9 million over the past quarter-ish, 3 months. You could see the leaders like Sephora and Ulta, like what they're doing over the past 3 months. Even ColourPop, sort of I wouldn't say they're a legacy brand, but they're definitely like one of the more famous D2C startups. So they're almost on on track with them from a traffic standpoint. Um, their top country is US 63%, but you can see why this is such a global brand because they're getting traffic all over the place. I mean, it's really sort of Rihanna is a global superstar. But you'll see a lot of other brands where like 83, 85, 90% of their traffic is from the US. They're getting a lot of traffic from, UK and other parts of Europe. So it's really a global brand. What I found interesting was their traffic. About their traffic was actually their top channel is paid search, which is interesting. You could see 30% is coming from paid search, 27% organic, 24% direct. Direct means they're coming in, they're like searching Fenty Beauty online, and they're going directly to the website. So that could be a combination of them getting. That could be a combination of paid and organic. So that's interesting. I have noticed like when I broke down Skims, they were doing a lot of paid search as well, but it still wasn't their number one channel. And so like what that basically looks like is if you just go to Fenty Beauty, a lot of their traffic is coming from people just searching Fenty Beauty and clicking on these shopping ads. And as you can see, they dominate the search results here for their own brand, like branded keyword research up here. But also, like Walmart, Sephora is bidding on that, but or people are just clicking on this and that's probably registering as organic. A lot of times people are coming right into the homepage. That is their number one page, 29%, which is pretty large. Most of the time you'll see it like 10 or 15%. So a lot of people are just landing directly on it, but they're also doing a lot of stuff to other pages. Like I'll go through the funnel breakdown, they are driving traffic to collection pages. They're driving traffic to product pages. Obviously, if you search for, Fenty lip gloss or something like that, and you click on that, it's going to go to an actual product page. So that's really where they're driving, how they're sort of driving most of their traffic and the pages that they're landing on. I even track some other things that like I see other brands doing, and they're doing a lot, and there's a lot of sort of a lot of upside for them here. For example, like they're not doing any TV ads. I couldn't find any here. I also couldn't find much like podcast stuff either. So I didn't see a lot of paid ads there. I think a lot of their paid advertising is literally coming in from just Google. They are doing some Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really interesting that you can see there's even like more upside for this brand to really grow. I think that they're definitely like very smart digitally, but I think that there's still some traffic that they can unlock here. In terms of like their actual traffic keywords, it's a lot of it is the same. It's like Fenty Beauty, Fenty Skin, Fenty Lip Gloss. It is their basically branded search is really what's driving a lot of this. And it's basically the same with organic and paid. Getting into like backlinks, a ton of backlinks. I mean, part of it is just Rihanna's brand. Part of it is the valuation of the brand. They're also like a real leader in the skincare brand now, in the skincare market as well. It's not just Rihanna. The products are mid-market priced and like pretty good quality. It's not luxury, but it's not like cheap either. I want to say it's like premium pricing sort of mid-price sort of products that have that are quality and also have like other people behind it besides just Rihanna. They've partnered with a lot of beauty influencers and makeup artists and stuff like that to really bring longevity to the brand. And I think that is also why this brand gets a lot of backlinks too. So, but they've been linked everywhere. Just pulling up their Facebook ads, and we can go through all of that. We go through their X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. What I find really interesting about their traffic from social is that it's actually coming mostly from YouTube. So they do get a lot of traffic there. But they also have a good steady pipeline from Meta. But yeah, you could check their YouTube account. Nothing crazy here. You go back and search like a lot of their popular videos, tutorials, partnerships with other people, and it's linking right back to the site, just the homepage. Now they are, coming up a steady influence of, or a steady drip of content, here on YouTube. And again, it's not all Rihanna. Like, they haven't done a Rihanna thing. Like, Rihanna hasn't been really involved. I mean, she's involved, but she hasn't really been like the focal point of the actual YouTube sort of videos in over a month. It's similar to what I found with Skims. Like, they've been able to sort of start and launch with Kim Kardashian and branch out of that sort of using the celebrity as distribution. So really cool to see. Facebook, again, steady drip of traffic there. X, Twitter, not as much. You could see other ads, again, a lot of sort of, promotional sort of content, retargeting content, I'm guessing. I'm not sure if this is like totally top of funnel. They also send a lot of it to Sephora as well. I noticed that. So they might have some partnership there, and you can see like Rihanna is sometimes used in the ad creative and sometimes she's not. A lot of it is just coming back to the products or using other influencers here at UGC. And again, like if you were to click on it, the ads, they go to collection pages or product pages. So pretty interesting how they're driving traffic. TikTok is really big too. And as you can see, it's the same type of strategy. There's a lot of it's not just Rihanna. There's a lot of other UGC product, other influencers involved in their sort of strategy here. So it's been really cool to see as well. Let's move into bottom of funnel sort of stuff. Single opt-in, live chat, email, mobile opt-in. All the opt-ins are deploying, and I'll go through it in a second, on a lot of their top pages. As you move through the bottom of the funnel, though, like not much exit intent. A lot of brands are moving away from this, like any sort of product exit intent, cart exit intent. They do some cross-selling and upselling in the cart. There is a no checkout upsell, no checkout exit intent. There is an SMS opt-in on the pop-up form. No one-click upsells. Another interesting thing is I never got an abandoned checkout flow. So I guess I've seen most brands do that, even though they might dial it back. No inbounce flow. They do an NPS survey. I forgot to mark that as yes, which I'll show you. I'll go through all their shipping notification emails because I did in order. Newsletters. Let's break that down real quick. So I'm just going to analyze the month of May. 15 to 20 emails a month. So they have a steady cadence. A lot of it is promotional. And as you could see, kind of similar trend. I went through all of them, and one of them is really featuring Rihanna. So they've really been able to move away. I don't know if move away is the right word, but I think one of the downsides or one of the trade-offs from using talent to really build your brand is eventually you have to sort of if you want to build a sustainable brand that has longevity, you have to be able to pivot away from just using that celebrity as distribution. Because it's a risk. It means that like the brand is really just tied to that celebrity. And I've noticed this with a lot of these brands. They've been able to make that transition. I talked about Skims, but as you can see, this is what it looks like in real life. You're still able to drive hundreds of millions of dollars of sales and sustain $1 billion valuation without using the celebrity to drive sales. And as you can see, a lot of it's not working. I hate this little slider thing. I don't know why it doesn't slide. But as you can see, we can jump into the emails, heavily promotional emails here. I mean, I guess they do use Rihanna's name a little bit. See the deal. 50 Shades, again, this is sort of what they originally got a lot of traction with, the inclusivity of having different shades. Now you see a lot of beauty brands doing this. Some basic stuff around, some features here like their delivery. Also, they have sort of split it off with Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin. I'm not going to jump too much into that. But yeah, I mean, so they've kind of, she also had a fashion brand with LVMH. You can see Kendo. That's the sort of the holding company or the sort of the umbrella company underneath LVMH. So yeah, that's a little bit of their email, getting into their email strategy. Let's see, I can now scroll with it. So yeah, very promotional. This is a product launch. Promotional. Here's a special offer that's kind of cool, where they're partnering. This is kind of cool too. They're JVing each brand off each other. So yeah, I mean, it's really, really just good execution. The design is nothing crazy too. This is all blocks too, which is interesting. Not a lot of text based. So as you can see, I pulled this out. If you were to actually, is this text? No, this is all image based emails, which is interesting. Sometimes this can cause inbox placement issues. It does get some text down below here in the footer. But yeah, so that's like their email strategy. Where else are we? Okay, let's jump into the actual funnel itself here. So I went through a lot of the traffic, and they have, first off, like they have a little bit of a brick and mortar presence. I could really only find, like I said, LVMH owns Sephora, so they get distribution there. But I couldn't go pick it up at my local Sephora. I'm based in Atlanta, so I don't know if that's true for other places. And they're in Walmart, but I only saw it on Walmart online. The only place I could really find locally in my area to pick it up was Target. So they do have a little bit of sort of brick and mortar distribution, but it's not nearly as leveraged as some other brands I've broken down. So I think they have a lot of opportunity to expand there if that's something that's a part of their strategy. Really, most of their sales are coming through their D2C store. They're not even doing an Amazon. They don't even have an Amazon channel, which is interesting. Now you can go to Amazon and you can buy Fenty Beauty. But but it is sold through another, I don't know if this is like one of their wholesalers here, BBR Makeup. I don't know if that's like how they're approaching this, but they don't even really own their Amazon channel either, which is interesting. So that's when I say this, when I say, okay, like they don't have brick and mortar presence really. They don't own their Amazon channel. They're not doing like podcast ads or YouTube, or a lot of like TV ad spots, that's what I mean when I think there's still a lot of upside with this brand, compared to like Kim Kardashian's brand Skims. I think that they're doing a better job of sort of like really cranking up the traffic machine. Not to say that Fenty is not doing a good job, because they are generating millions of views a month. I just think that there's even more upside to this brand. But coming into it, let's talk about it. Like I said, their traffic is mostly landing on the homepage, 29%. They also go to collection pages and product pages. And again, that's mostly coming from direct search. Or paid search, some organic search, some direct traffic. They're also getting a lot of social traffic, again, like 10% from social. And I went through that social. And that, I would say that's high, but I went through that with, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. When you land on the site, though, you can get these sort of pop-up forms, and they're appearing on all three of these pages: the product pages, the collection pages, and the home. So if I just go to Fenty Beauty, you can see it right now. I'm not going to click on a sponsored ad. It deploys pretty quickly. I don't think it's deploying with me because I might have another private browsing tab open. That's why. Yeah. Let's see now. Yeah, so that's their pop-up. And again, you can go through it all right here. I went through the entire pop-up. So at the time of the recording, this is their pop-up. It's a 15% off offer. I'm pretty sure they are using Klaviyo for email and Attentive for SMS. So if you're wondering what tools these brands are using, that's what I think they're using. And again, once you go to that pop-up form, this is the pre-purchase flow that I got. Again, it's very heavily image-based. It's using Rihanna's name, not using Rihanna's face. Again, trying to shift people to Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin. What I find interesting about this is that they're doing that. And that logistically, how much of a headache does that create? Like, let's go look at Fenty Skin. Okay, yeah. So I think what they do is they market it as Fenty Beauty, Fenty Skin, but it all comes into the same site, which would make things a lot easier just from like a logistical standpoint. Like, imagine having to have one email sort of CRM servicing both these accounts and making sure they have, the same, the discount codes all set up and stuff like that. So this is sort of their first email. This is one of their top sellers, their perfume, and it actually is one of the second most popular page. So I think what they're really trying to do here is position Fenty Beauty, position Fenty Skin, then position the bestseller. Or I don't know if that's the bestseller, but like, again, it is the number one traffic. It is the page that gets the second most amount of traffic. So I'm wondering, normally that means it's getting a lot of sales. So yeah, this is a well framed out email, pre-purchase email. Moving on to the cart, as you can see, they then do a fair amount of sort of upselling, cross-selling, reminding you can use Afterpay or Klarna. And a lot of brands are doing this now. This is like pretty much every brand is doing this now. They have some sort of cross-selling going on in the cart. Let's see if I can see what it looks like under $100. So I add this to cart. Also, just the product pages in general are pretty good. A lot of UGC here. Pretty good ingredients, clear product pages, good reviews, cross-selling going on here. But if you click add to cart, they're real big on you creating an account. But yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about the cart. Going into the checkout, it's a one-page checkout, which was really cool to see. I don't see a lot of brands doing this now that Shopify allows you to do this. But yeah, one-page checkout, not really any cross-selling, upselling going on in the checkout. What I did find interesting, though, is as soon as you place an order, they go straight for an NPS survey. And I've seen brands like do a little bit of this on the thank you page, but I've never seen it go like straight to just NPS survey. And I've always wondered, like, why do you NPS survey someone before they even get their order? It's like, would you recommend us to your friends and family? It's like, they might not have tried the product yet. And I don't know if this is dynamic, like if this only goes to first-time customers, but that's a pretty interesting thing about their funnel. And then moving on to the thank you page, nothing going on here really crazy. It's pretty straightforward. And then post-purchase emails, they're shipping notification emails. So they thank us for the order. It's pretty straightforward. This is a Shopify notification email. It's styled a little bit, but nothing crazy. I do like how they, we're here if you need us, like, please contact us. That just, a lot of people have questions about their orders. So I like that they're doing that. And then they're not using AfterShip or Wonderman. I think it's just, these are just straight Shopify. This is order notification. This is shipping notification, and then this is the delivery notification. So pretty straightforward. Interesting that they're cross-selling right away here in these transactional emails. And they're trying to get you to join a list. So some thought has been put into this. Pretty cool. And then I already went through their newsletters and stuff like that before, but yeah, that's their funnel breakdown of their order. And yeah, so this has been like sort of a full audit and funnel breakdown of Fenty Beauty. And yeah, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions or felt like I didn't go over something that you wanted me to go over, feel free to email me anytime at will@flowcandy.com, and stay tuned for the next funnel breakdown.